Harp on Sports, The Bar, Podcast, Audio, Media, Radio Network. Follow, share, like, subscribe at Harp on Sports on all of our platforms, including Harp on Sports, the YouTube channel, and the brand new harponsports.com. Check it out. Brand new website. Can't thank Matt and the gang enough for putting it together. Check it out. Again, harponsports.com. On days I'm not podcasting, I try to put an article up. Try to write an article so at least you get content every single day. Okay, what do we have in store for you on this edition of The Bar? Oh boy. A change of tone. KaDarius Toney. This is an ugly situation with Henry Ruggs III, and KaDarius Toney is doing something that they should teach you not to do in college. By the time you get to the NFL, you should know better than this. You should. You don't, and it's not necessarily Tony's fault. We're going to look at that. Also, Rick Neuheisel came out and talked about Dan Mullen in the NFL. Come on, it's just ridiculous. Oh, yeah, the NFL, Dan Mullen. Yeah, why not? Mullen NFL nonsense. And a little Rodgers reflux. Going to start off with this KaDarius Toney thing first. I wrote an article on harponsports.com about this, but there's an extra layer to this now, an extra layer to this today. KaDarius Toney defending Henry Ruggs III after he drove NASCAR speed while drunk and hit a woman and killed her. The wreck didn't kill her. She burned alive inside the car after he hit her. And KaDarius Toney trying to support his guy, trying to, I'll say, stand up for him against the Twitter mob, which you can't do. Not in this situation, came out and said that y'all act like you've never done anything wrong. You want to drag him for this. Oh boy. And then he turned off the comments. You can't, if you're going to be a public figure and you're going to be on Twitter, you cannot turn off comments. You can't be, if you're going to be a public figure, only my tweets are private. You can't, if you're going to be a public figure, you either got to be a public figure or not. Either get on there or don't. That reminds me of that episode of South Park where Cartman made Butters read all of his emails and read all of his responses and only do the good ones. And then Toney obviously is going through and looking at him because he said, well, people are after me. How would you know people are after you if you didn't look through them? But this should have been taught at the University of Florida. This should have been taught way back when you're recruiting young men is early. I saw, what was it the other day? Was it Oregon State that's recruiting a 7th grader or 8th grader? There's no way you can be emotionally and mentally immature at 13 to handle that type of notoriety without going to your head. So you're coddled. Think about if you are a division. I'm going to defend Toney here for a second before I get into the criticism of him. Think about where you are at 14 or 15 years old when you aren't a star. You're arrogant and pompous and self-centered. Of course you are. And throw on that you're going to have 15, 20, 25 Division I college football coaches basically kissing your butt to come to school, offering full rides, pulling out all the stops. And then you get there and they want to do everything in their power to keep you on campus, and they continue to do these things. So then you get yourself into a situation where the coach is coddling you. They're doing everything to get you to pass. So they can what? Well, they can keep you eligible and you can win and succeed. And then when you're done, you're done. But they shield you from the media. And then you get to the NFL level and you don't have the emotional maturity to handle this because you've never been taught how to handle this. And the whole thing, well, we don't want them to put their foot in their mouth collegiately. Well, I get that, but you're not preparing them for the real world, are you? KaDarius Toney, every Division I football player should go through media training. Nick Saban does this at Alabama. They didn't do it at Florida. They just didn't. And KaDarius Toney now is on Twitter tweeting things like, y'all are goofy for going after a guy that killed somebody. We all make mistakes. And even I said, yeah, I made a mistake once, twice, a couple of times. I forgot to renew my license plate when I was 22. Whoops. there's a mistake like that. He didn't get, look, Henry Ruggs III didn't get busted with pot. Henry Ruggs III didn't get busted with a firearm. He went NASCAR speed and hit somebody and killed him as they burned alive inside. It's not a mistake. It's bigger than that, isn't it? So I defend young athletes, especially up through college, because, nobody ever sits them down and goes over these things with them. You use them. College football coaches use these guys, and they keep them in a corner. Okay, this person, keep them in a corner. Keep them over there. Keep them away from everybody. All right, now we got them away. Okay, we're winning football games. Keep them away from everybody. Okay, now he's gone off to the NFL. All right, he's off to the NFL. And they get to the NFL, and they don't have the maturity to handle these things. And KaDarius Toney shouldn't be on Twitter. He shouldn't. And here's the thing. Once you get to the NFL, shame on Florida for not getting him ready. Seriously, shame on the school for not getting him ready. The athletic department here. Seth, how good. Well, look, you want me to, what they did prepare him? And here's where we are now. The Giants, he's firing these things off. Nobody in PR for the Giants is going to grab him and say, hey, bud, look, it's not going to end well. This is not going to end well. David Carr came out and, said the right thing. Talking about how he's going to be there for him. He loves him. And look, support doesn't mean condoning. Just like loving someone doesn't mean justifying. So Carr handled this the right way. Tony's just out there wanting to. I don't know what you're trying to do. And again, part of me sits there, and if he had a friend that actually gave a damn, he'd go put his arm around him and say, "Hey, bud, look, I know you're trying to defend your guy, and there's a bunch of people attacking him like they've never done anything wrong, but Henry killed somebody, and we've got to back this off a little bit." He obviously doesn't have anybody like that in his life. Or maybe he tries to keep people away from him like that. That's just an ugly situation. And look, if you're going to defend somebody, it reminded me after the Ray Rice thing happened, and, the elevator door opens and she's knocked out, his fiance at the time, and you had people saying, oh, I wonder what happened, and there's something must have happened for him to do that. Something, we don't know what happened. Something must have happened. And it turned out what happened was she was yelling at him, so he hit her. That's what happened. Well, she must have done. It's almost like one of those things like, well, he had no choice. That's ugly. And somebody is going to have to pull KaDarius Toney aside from the Giants and talk to him, or are you just going to let your guy go out there and get barbecued like this? Because I got news for you. Media availability access, there's going to be microphones in front of him. The next Giants game, there's going to be what do we, and they're going to get more audio, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So change your tone. I mean, you can come on and say, hey man, Henry Ruggs is my brother. I love the guy to death. I hate what happened. Please, for all the families involved, think of everyone at this time. God, I'll be there for him if he needs me. My heart goes out to her family. What a shame. And then look at the camera and say, don't drink and drive. Never the wrong time to do the right thing. From that, pivot to this. Rick Neuheisel this week coming out and saying that, Brian Fennell, life skills 101. Yeah. Colleges should teach it. Shame on them. Rick Neuheisel, was he on Sirius saying that, he knows Dan Mullen, he likes Dan Mullen, he's probably had about enough of what's going on at Florida, and, would go to the NFL. Enough of what? It's a 4-4 football team that's probably going to finish 8-4 just because the 4 teams they play in their schedule the rest of the year don't have a winning record. Samford may. Does Samford have a winning record? I don't know. They don't play anybody with a winning record. They'll thump South Carolina. They're going to thump Missouri. They're going to beat Samford. Florida State will be a decent football game. They're going to go 8-4 and end up where? Music City Bowl in Nashville? Maybe a little Duke's Mayo Bowl in Nashville or in Charlotte, where they're going to end up. Is 8-4 a good year? Can you handle 8-4? Is 8-4 quality? Is it? And, Dan Mullen was going on at Florida. Well, what's going on in Florida? He lost maybe the best tight end in the history of the conference. He lost a Heisman finalist quarterback. And he lost, KaDarius Toney, who's he's a talented wide receiver. So, the upset at what? They were going to take a sidestep or a step back this year. Alabama's the only team in the country that reloads like that offensively. They're the only one. Let's face it, they took a step back this year. They did. But when you're Nick Saban and you have 15 years of recruiting and 10 straight top 3 recruiting classes, it's going to happen. Or 9 out of the last 10, you're going to be loaded. Look at Clemson took a step back this year. Clemson and Florida about the same football team. So they turning on Dan Mullen here? Yeah, they are. That doesn't help him, though. Well, you know what? He's had enough. Just doesn't like the way things are going there. What things? He put himself on probation. He, doesn't like all the questions about recruiting. Well, tough. Going to go to the NFL and do what? Coach what? Coordinator? Could be head coach of the NFL? NFL coaches are champing at the bit to hire a coach who goes 4-4 and loses to LSU, who had a losing record, or loses to Kentucky. And what? The development of quarterbacks. Florida got a good quarterback system here. Florida quarterbacks lead the nation. They still lead the nation in rushing. They did going into the Georgia game. Get our quarterbacks lead the nation in rushing. That sounds like a recipe for success in the NFL. Quarterbacks that run the ball all the time. Quarterbacks that have the ability to run the ball, but run the ball all the time. Read option. Yeah, you bet. No, it's not a recipe for success. And again, I think Dan Mullen is perfect for the college game. I think he is. He's a rah-rah guy. He loves his players, sometimes to a fault. But here's the difference between Florida and Mississippi State. At Mississippi State, after a 9-3 season, remember when Dan went 10-2 at Mississippi State and, went to the Orange Bowl? He followed that up with what? A 7-5 year in Starkville? You forgot about that, didn't you? Mississippi State fans were okay with that. Florida fans aren't. Florida fans aren't okay with, we went to the SEC championship game. Okay, we don't have to go next year, but we can't be losing to LSU as a losing record. We can't lose to Kentucky. And those things are going to happen. I think Dan still gets one more year to get all this figured out. But this NFL nonsense, Mullen to the NFL, is what? And then you keep hearing, Cliff Kingsbury, he had a losing record at Texas Tech. He also, developed Patrick Mahomes. Dan did Dak Prescott a decade ago? Dak winning Super Bowls? Dak an MVP? Good quarterback. What have you done? Last year would have been the year. But here's the other thing, too. Billionaire franchise owners going to hand the reins off to a collegiate coach. Urban Meyer hurt people this year a little bit with this. And let's face it, Urban was buttoned up. Let's face it, Urban has his issues collegiately, his health issues, and I get it, and what happened at Ohio State. But those were other people's issues, right? The health issues were his. But his issue at Ohio State was a personnel issue. It wasn't his issue. Mullen's issues at Florida are his issues. Losing to Texas A&M and advocating for packing the swamp. We got to pack the swamp next week. Well, that had to do with this week. The Missouri game last year, we had the fight on the field and he came back on the field. You can't do those things. He's not going to post-game press conferences dressed up as Darth Vader. Collegiately, I love those things. Those are great. But could you imagine the NFL if a coach came out dressed up as Darth Vader in a post-game press conference? Those are billion-dollar franchises and billion-air owners. You look around collegiately and guys, that NFL step type of guys in the SEC, they're just who? Kirby's not that type of guy. Dan, it's all about play calling. It's all you could have sold me on that last year. You could have. But if they weren't interested in Dan last year at 9-2 in the SEC championship game, scoring 40+ points against Alabama, think they're going to be interested this year? Come on, it's just nonsense. It's ridiculous. I look around the collegiate ranks and it's ridiculous. Lincoln Riley, yeah, you can get me on Lincoln Riley. You bet you can. There's certain guys you can sell me on, sure. You can even sell me on Mel Tucker a little bit. Why? Think about what they do. They got a big bruising running back. They play great defense. Big Ten land. If the Bears wanted to hire a guy like Mel Tucker, you could sell me on that. Dan Mullen, you could sell me 2 years ago in the NFL. You could sell me on him last year. You can't sell me on him this year. All you got to do is call plays. He doesn't have to draft the players. Well, okay. And look, he's had Emory Jones for 3 years and Richardson, and this is where we are? Okay. Wrapping with this. That's just nonsense. Just stop that stuff. Rick's fishing for his guy. And we appreciate that, but it's ridiculous. Gonna wrap with this. Aaron Rodgers. Little reflux. Some people think it's funny because he's trolling the media. Well, actually, it's not just the media. He broke the rules, didn't he? Now, regardless of whether or not you think the rules are ridiculous, they are the rules. This is collectively bargained. If you collectively bargain something and the rules, it doesn't matter. All right, then the owners don't have to pay you this week. When you collectively bargain something, you agree to it. It's why we have unions. It's why those things take place. And I just give you some examples. We have guys in the NFL that get fined for uniform infractions. Oh, come on. That's not that big of a deal. Okay, well, the NFL has uniform infractions. You have to wear your socks a certain way, shirt a certain way. That exists, right? The military has uniform protocol. Airlines have uniform protocol. Schools have dress codes. And if you can sit there and say, oh, well, not a big deal. Well, can I come out on my football helmet with a big logo that says, eat me? If Aaron Rodgers, it's not that big of a deal. Uniform protocol, not that big of a deal. So Aaron Rodgers could peel the Green Bay logo off and write, eat me on the side of his helmet. You cool with that? Well, that's a little bit too far. Okay, where do you draw the line? That's why those things are in place, okay? And here's my issue with the Aaron Rodgers thing. Well, he didn't say he was vaccinated. He said he was immunized. Okay, fine. You want to deal with that semantic stuff? That's fine. But if you're not vaccinated, you got to wear a mask. Well, no. Those are the rules. Those are the rules. And he didn't do that. You can sit there and say, you're just kidding the media. Fine. My issue now is that he said he spoke with NFL doctors about his research and about some of the things that he's done. By the way, none of you do your own research. You go on Google. I did my research. No, you Googled it, or you went on YouTube and you found something that you'd agreed with, and then you posted it as your research. That's like me going out and saying, I believe, Uranus smells like sulfur, and then going out and finding that, oh, look, it actually does. Okay, then posting it, look, I did my research. No, I Googled it. Research involves a thesis and hypothesis and papers and test groups. And no, you didn't do any of that stuff. You took somebody else's work. So I did my research. Well, not really. Not really. He lied. He said he talked to the NFL doctor and showed him his research. And the NFL comes out and said, no, he didn't. He didn't talk to any of our guys. Somebody's lying here. Is he lying? Well, everybody lies. I think this is one of the things that shocks me in the last 20 months. Shocks me. Actually, the last 5 or 6 years. That people not only are okay with liars, they celebrate them. The last 20 months, like, well, you can't trust so-and-so, but you blatantly put all your chips in somebody that you know is lying to you. You know is lying to you. I don't know how you as a parent can look at somebody with a straight face. I don't. Well, I look at your kids at a straight face and say, well, everybody lies, Chip, and I'm lying to you too, so get on out there. Just lie. Yeah, I talked to NFL doctors, and I showed them my research and what I'd come up with. And NFL says, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. You didn't talk to any of us. Well, whatever. Oh. You going to lie to the league? Well, it's the media lying. It's a vaccine. Okay, you lie. Can I say my foot's broken when it's not? Affect the point spread? Think about this. Is the danger in this. This is the danger in this. Think about this. If you are the Packers, if you're going to sit there and say, oh, you just lie and so what? Can Aaron Rodgers, would it be okay with you if Aaron Rodgers said, I broke my foot, I'm not going to play this weekend? And then showed up and played and said, I just lied. Would you be okay if an NFL team put a player on an injury report that really wasn't hurt? Would you be okay with that? What about if a coach said that he wasn't going to come to the game this weekend because he had a death in the family and nobody died? He was actually there. Well, what type of lying are you okay with? All of it? Some of it? None of it? Aaron Rodgers is a liar. When you look at it, well, he's duping the media. No, he lied. He said he talked to NFL personnel about what he did, and he didn't. You can sit there and you can get to the semantics. Oh, he never said he was vaccinated. He said he was immunized. Okay. Well, if you're not vaccinated, you got to wear a mask. He didn't wear a mask. Okay. So he broke rules. Well, those rules are, it doesn't matter if those rules are ridiculous. The NFL has rules about how you can wear your helmet, how you can wear your pads, what you can put on your uniform. If not, then you could walk around with a nameplate on the back of your jersey that says, blow me. Couldn't you? Say, oh, these rules are ridiculous. So what? He did the rules. Those are the rules for a reason. What if he came out with a big middle finger as his number on his jersey? Instead of a quarterback wearing number 16 or 13, what if Tom Brady came out with a big middle finger where the 1 is on his jersey? You cool with that? Why not? Oh, NFL per uniform rules, whatever. Respect, no respect, whatever. He lied. He lied. So, again, the last 18 months, 20 months, I guess the biggest revelation for me is people not only are okay with lying, they embrace liars. Love them. Guess that's why some of you don't like me. Harp on Sports, the Bar Podcast, Audio, Media, Radio Network. Follow, share, like, subscribe at Harp on Sports on all of our platforms. HarpOnSports.com. Check it out, the new page. We put a lot of work into it. Tell us what you like, what you love, all that stuff. Gators are going to crush South Carolina. They'll cover the spread. I'll give you some of my predictions on Twitter. Check them out. Remember, stay clean, stay focused, stay strong. Frankenstein. Have fun with your friends.